Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders find themselves in a precarious position this week as they prepare to face the Las Vegas Raiders. All eyes are on star quarterback Jayden Daniels, who once again missed practice, raising concerns about his availability for Sunday's game. Daniels, who suffered a knee sprain during the Week 2 loss to the Green Bay Packers, has already missed practice on both Wednesday and Thursday, leaving fans and analysts alike wondering whether the dynamic quarterback will be able to take the field. Head coach Dan Quinn has been cautious in his approach, suggesting earlier in the week that the team was aiming for a potential return during Friday's practice session, but stressing that nothing is guaranteed. The uncertainty around Daniels' status has added a layer of tension to the Commanders' week, as his running ability and playmaking skills are central to the team's offensive strategy. Quinn emphasized that the priority is ensuring Daniels is able to be fully himself on the field, capable of performing at the level he is known for, rather than rushing him back and risking further injury. It starts off first on the strength, the movements, Quinn explained, then on the field change direction, the pivoting, the moving. All of those would be the things to go. So, we'll just take it as it goes through the week, but he'd have to see all of the steps along this week to hit those marks. The speed, the stopping, the change of direction, all of it. His careful wording reflects the delicate balance the Commanders are trying to maintain between protecting their star player and maximizing their chances of winning against a Raiders team that is always dangerous on both sides of the ball. If Daniels is ultimately unable to suit up, the Commanders will turn to veteran quarterback Marcus Mariota, who has been serving as the backup. Mariota, known for his experience and steady hand, is familiar with stepping into high-pressure situations, and he spoke candidly about the situation, acknowledging Daniels' desire to play while also cautioning him against pushing through an injury prematurely. It comes down to, if you feel like you can do what you normally do, then go ahead, Mariota said. I've been in situations like this where you try to fight through it, and maybe you're not playing like yourself, and it is hard. You want to be out there for your team and tough it out. We understand Jayden is going to do everything in his power to play. We always tell him, just be you, and if you feel through the course of the week you get back to that point, great. We'll support you to be ready to roll. If you need a week, that's okay. I'll be ready to go too. Mariota's remarks highlight not only the camaraderie within the locker room, but also the strategic mindset of the team as they prepare for a game that could define their season. The message is clear. While the Commanders want their star quarterback on the field, they also recognize the importance of playing smart and putting the team first. Looking back at Mariota's contributions in 2024, it's easy to see why the Commanders have confidence in him. He played in 3 games, completing an impressive 77.3% of his passes for a total of 364 yards, while throwing 4 touchdowns and recording no interceptions. Beyond his passing game, Mariota added 92 yards and a touchdown on the ground, showcasing his ability to extend plays and make things happen with his legs. These stats, while accumulated in a limited sample size, demonstrate that Mariota is more than capable of stepping in if Daniels is sidelined, providing the team with a reliable and experienced option at the most critical position on the field. The combination of his passing efficiency and mobility gives the Commanders a blueprint to maintain their offensive rhythm, even without their starter. The looming matchup against the Raiders adds a layer of urgency to this situation. Las Vegas is a team that thrives on exploiting defensive weaknesses, and they will undoubtedly focus on putting pressure on the quarterback, whoever it might be on Sunday. The Commanders' offensive line will play a crucial role in protecting their quarterback, and the running game will need to complement the passing attack to keep the Raiders' defense off balance. Daniels' ability to run is a defining characteristic of his game, which makes his potential absence even more significant. Without his dual-threat capability, the Commanders may have to adjust their game plan, leaning more heavily on Mariota's passing accuracy and strategic decision-making rather than the dynamic improvisation that Daniels provides. This potential shift in offensive approach could alter the flow of the game and impact the team's overall performance, putting even more emphasis on coaching strategy and in-game adjustments. The pressure is not just on the quarterback, though. The entire Commanders roster is acutely aware of the stakes. Every receiver, every lineman, and every running back will be expected to execute flawlessly, especially if Mariota takes the helm. This week's practices, even with Daniels missing, are about fine-tuning timing, synchronizing routes, and ensuring that everyone is prepared to respond to the Raiders' defensive schemes. Coach Quinn has emphasized a step-by-step approach, making sure that each player hits their marks in practice so that the team can execute under pressure on game day. The focus is on discipline, precision, and readiness, ensuring that the Commanders enter the stadium with a clear plan, regardless of who is throwing the ball. Fans are understandably anxious, as the uncertainty surrounding Daniels' availability has dominated the headlines. Social media is buzzing with speculation, ranging from full confidence in Daniels' return to cautious optimism that Mariota can carry the team if needed. The narrative surrounding this quarterback situation is shaping the conversation around the Commanders' season and raising questions about depth, resilience, and adaptability. This is exactly the type of scenario that tests a team's mettle. Can they rally behind a backup and still perform at a high level? Can the coaching staff adjust effectively to the challenges presented by injuries? The answers to these questions will become clear on Sunday, as Washington and Las Vegas clash in what promises to be a hard-fought matchup with playoff implications already looming in the minds of players and fans alike. The timing of the game adds another layer of intrigue. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, which means that by mid-afternoon, all the speculation will be resolved, one way or another. If Daniels takes the field, the Commanders will be hoping his mobility and decision-making can spark an offense still searching for consistency. If Mariota starts, the focus shifts to game management, efficient passing, and controlling the tempo to give the defense a chance to dominate. Either scenario presents a fascinating chess match between two teams with playoff aspirations, and the quarterback situation will undoubtedly be the story that drives headlines and analysis for the next week. Analysts, commentators, and fans alike will dissect every play, every decision, and every outcome through the lens of who is under center, recognizing that in modern football, the quarterback position can define the trajectory of an entire franchise in a single game. Ultimately, the situation with Jayden Daniels underscores the fine line teams walk between player health and competitive urgency. In today's NFL, where every game matters and injuries are inevitable, managing star players carefully while preparing reliable backups is not just smart, it's essential. The Commanders' handling of this situation, the messaging from Mariota, and the careful approach to practice all reflect a team striving to balance ambition with pragmatism. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for the best but preparing for contingencies. This week is more than just a game. It's a test of leadership, depth, and resilience for the Washington Commanders. By the time the ball is kicked off against Las Vegas, the storylines will converge, and the outcome will speak volumes about the team's ability to navigate adversity and rise to the occasion. Regardless of who starts, one thing is certain. The spotlight on the Commanders' quarterback situation will not fade, and the implications of Sunday's game will be felt far beyond just one afternoon of football. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Hold on to your seats, folks, because the NFL universe is buzzing like never before. A shockwave just hit the league, and it's the kind of story that makes you double-check your notifications and question everything you thought you knew about off-season moves. Word on the street, and I emphasize word on the street because nothing has been officially confirmed yet, is that the Washington Commanders have pulled off a move that could reshape not just their defense, but the entire perception of the team going into the next season. Sources close to the situation, unconfirmed, but highly credible insiders who have been whispering in the ears of multiple analysts, are suggesting that Chase Young, yes, the dynamic pass rusher who has been a nightmare for quarterbacks across the league, might be heading back to Washington in what is being described as a last-minute, behind-the-scenes blockbuster trade. The whispers began late last night, and by this morning, the rumor mills were in full overdrive. Analysts, former players, and fans alike are scratching their heads because the idea of Young returning to the Commanders seemed almost impossible given all the chatter about his future and contract negotiations. Yet, here we are, contemplating the possibility of one of the most explosive defensive players in the league being reunited with the team that originally drafted him. The nature of this alleged deal is shrouded in secrecy, with sources insisting that it was negotiated in such a way that very few people inside the front offices actually had the full picture. Some reports suggest that the trade was crafted in the final hours of a negotiation window, with a flurry of phone calls, text messages, and perhaps even in-person meetings that took place under conditions most would describe as extraordinary for the modern NFL. There's talk that the Commanders were looking for an edge, a way to make a statement, to signal to fans and opponents alike that they are serious about contending, and that Chase Young represents a linchpin in that vision. What makes this rumor particularly tantalizing is that it seems to defy conventional wisdom. Typically, trades of this magnitude are slow-burn stories, teased by insiders over weeks, meticulously dissected by sports media. But this appears to have been a lightning strike, a sudden, almost cinematic maneuver that caught the league and its followers completely off guard. And because of the secrecy surrounding the deal, speculation is rampant about what was exchanged, what draft picks might be involved, and how both the Commanders and Young himself feel about the move behind closed doors. Fans on social media are, unsurprisingly, losing their minds. Twitter timelines are ablaze with everything from hope-filled declarations that the team's defense is suddenly unstoppable to more cautious, skeptical takes questioning whether this is just another phantom rumor meant to generate clicks. Reddit threads are being created in real time, dissecting every possible angle. Did the Commanders part with a young asset, a future first-round pick, or perhaps a combination of players that nobody saw coming? There are even whispers that the trade might involve conditional picks, performance incentives, or other intricate NFL bargaining chips that only insiders would fully understand. The sheer mystery of it all is fueling feverish conversation, with some analysts speculating that if this deal goes through as rumored, the Commanders could instantly elevate themselves into one of the league's most feared defensive squads, altering the trajectory of their upcoming season in ways no one could have predicted. And yet, the uncertainty is equally palpable. Nobody knows how Young himself is reacting to the possibility of returning to the team that drafted him, or how this move would affect locker room dynamics, leadership roles, and the overall chemistry that's been developing for months. What's particularly fascinating about this story is the way it seems to play into larger narratives about power and strategy in the NFL. The league has always been a chessboard, with front offices making moves not only to win games, but to signal ambition, intent, and confidence. If the Commanders have indeed engineered a secretive, high-stakes trade to bring back Chase Young, it sends a message that they are willing to swing for the fences, to make bold, aggressive choices that could either define them as visionaries or expose them to significant risk. Some insiders are framing this as the ultimate all-in moment, a team saying to the rest of the league, "We are serious. We are not here to rebuild slowly. We are here to dominate." And in a league where momentum, perception, and media narratives can shape everything from fan engagement to free agent decisions, the ripple effects of a move like this could extend far beyond just Washington's roster. Rival teams, already wary of Young's talent, would now need to recalibrate strategies, potentially altering their own off-season decisions in response. Meanwhile, fantasy football enthusiasts and betting markets are likely spinning into chaos, trying to anticipate how the addition of a player of Young's caliber could tilt defensive statistics, sack totals, and game outcomes across the board. Of course, no blockbuster rumor would be complete without its fair share of skepticism. Many veteran reporters caution that until there's an official announcement from the Commanders or the league, everything should be taken with a grain of salt. The NFL is a league where whispers can sometimes snowball into full-blown narratives, only to fizzle when the paperwork isn't actually filed. But what makes this particular story so compelling, and why it has become a hot topic in sports circles overnight, is the convergence of timing, talent, and intrigue. The notion of a high-profile player returning to his original team is inherently dramatic, and the added layer of secrecy amplifies that drama exponentially. Fans are drawn to it not just because of the potential on-field implications, but because it taps into a deeper, almost cinematic storyline. The prodigal son returns, the team takes a gamble, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Whether this narrative resolves in confirmation, denial, or some hybrid twist remains to be seen, but the mere possibility has already captivated the imagination of the NFL community in a way few offseason stories ever manage to do. Another layer of fascination comes from the broader context of Chase Young's career trajectory. He entered the league with sky-high expectations, quickly establishing himself as one of the most feared defensive ends in the game. Yet, like many young stars, his journey has included injuries, ups and downs, and the inevitable scrutiny that comes with playing in the nation's capital. A return to the Commanders, if it happens, would not only be a chance at redemption, but also an opportunity to redefine his legacy. Analysts are already speculating on how his reintegration could reshape defensive schemes, potentially pairing him with other emerging talents to create a pass rush that few offensive lines could handle. Coaches, both within Washington and across the league, must be recalculating in real time, wondering how to prepare their squads for a player whose return might alter everything from blitz packages to coverage strategies. And beyond the X's and O's, there's the human element. Young's relationship with the city, the fans, and the team that initially invested in him is now part of the story, adding an emotional weight to a transaction that would otherwise be purely transactional. Meanwhile, the chatter isn't limited to tactical implications. Sports media personalities are weighing in with everything from incredulous reactions to carefully reasoned analyses. Podcasts are devoting entire episodes to dissecting the rumor, debating the likelihood, and imagining the scenarios that could unfold if Young indeed rejoins the Commanders. YouTube channels, naturally, are capitalizing on the buzz, producing video content that ranges from breakdowns of potential trades to high-energy reaction videos that capture the sheer excitement, and sometimes frustration, of fans desperate for clarity. The story has a life of its own, propelled by speculation, insider tidbits, and the inherent drama of a league where fortunes can change on a single phone call, a single contract clause, or a single moment of decision-making by a front office. So where does this leave us? Right now, we're in the midst of a swirling, almost feverish narrative that feels equal parts rumor, intrigue, and pure speculation. If the trade goes through, it could mark one of the most dramatic offseason moves in recent memory, reshaping not just the Commanders' defense but the balance of power in the NFC. If it doesn't, the story will likely linger as one of the most tantalizing what-ifs of the year, a ghost of a move that never materialized but still captured the imagination of fans and analysts alike. Either way, the mere suggestion that Washington and Chase Young could be reunited has injected a jolt of energy into conversations that were already heating up, giving fans something to debate, argue, and dream about as the season approaches. And in a league that thrives on drama, suspense, and the unpredictability of human decision-making, this rumor, whether ultimately true or false, reminds us why we can't look away, why we tune in, why we click the refresh button one more time, hoping for the next twist, the next confirmation, the next spark that might just set the NFL world on fire once again. The Commanders, Chase Young, and a secretive last-minute deal. It has all the ingredients of a story that will be talked about for months, if not years, to come. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.